Welcome back to Cover Your Assets. We've got Todd Rooker, Jason Walgrave, Craig Nestor, and you too, 855-835-8500. Hang on to that number. You can call it all week long to reach the Cover Your Assets team, 855-835-8500. Online also at coveryourassets21.com. Gentlemen, we've been talking about the alarming number of people who went late on their mortgage payments, 7 million in August alone, and some of the triage that you guys, this team, can provide. Short sales, one of them.
Yeah, we specialize in short sales. Our team is the number one team in the state of Minnesota. We do probably more short sales than anyone else. Now, what does that exactly mean? You hear all the time, especially right now in this market, all agents are experts and they're short sale experts and they can help you out. But do they really know what they're doing? Do they have the experience? Do they have the track record? Do they have a law firm that they're teamed up with that does the negotiating on the seller's behalf? Right now, my average time until I get an offer is around 30 days.
That's huge. That's better than even regular, non-distress sales.
Non-distress, I think, is 140 days.
Wow.
And so then someone will say, well, you're just pricing them too low. Well, it's not about pricing them too low. If my success rate is 90%, then I'm not pricing them too low. The pricing is important. You need to price it low enough to get that offer. You need to have a marketing plan to attract those buyers, but you can't price it too low because the bank's not going to accept the offer, and it's not going to get approved.
The banks are getting very, very tough on this offer, by the way.
They are. They are getting tough. The bank will send out an agent do a BPO.
What is a BPO?
Broker price opinion.
Yeah, broker price opinion. They may even send out an appraiser and have both done. So you need to be, I need to be very accurate. I need to do a ton of research, do my due diligence to make sure that the price, it's a very fine line between getting an offer and it being too low and the bank not working with you.
See, everybody, I think that there's still a perception that if a bank is involved in a sale, that a buyer can go in and offer $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 low and it'll just fly because the banks just want to dump this property.
No, the banks are they're a lot smarter now than they were a couple years ago. They are spending the time to determine what the market value is. Now, with that said, I'll give you an example of a condo that we did. This came up last week. It is we originally purchased for $175. It was one that we went on the market at $99. We had to drop it to $75. Well, the building was distressed. There were comparables in the building to support an offer of $25,000. So we got an offer for actually $20,500. The bank sent out their agent, came in and said, nope, our counter offer is $60,000. So they countered that offer, $60,000. I then went back, did additional research, sent them additional comps, gave them the market data. 2 days later, they accepted that offer for $20,500.
That's right.
Wow. The point is that they are more aggressive. They're spending more time on determining what they think the market value is. But I think I'm spending more time and I'm getting the data that's needed to approve that short sale.
One of the most significant advantages of a short sale is that you actually have a seat at the table as a homeowner. You're in the negotiation process with the lender. Not only the main advantage to that is it helps reduce the deficiencies or the judgments against you when you exit that property. If you just let it roll through the foreclosure process, and I get if you don't have enough money to make the payments or there's nowhere to go, that some people are stuck there. But if you have an opportunity to sit at the table and negotiate with the lender your exit, it's a much more powerful spot to be in, Jason.
Yeah, it is. The law firms that we work with, they spend, they have a dozen people working for them. Their expertise is short sale negotiation. So they've got contacts with the different banks. They know kind of what they're looking for. It's not. I found that teaming up with the law firms has made the process much more successful because this is what they do. They're experts in negotiating short sales with the bank.
Now, Todd, talk about, you are a credit expert, really, and you work with that in people's lives in your business every single day. How does a short sale help minimize the damage in the aftermath and the dings that people experience as they're going down?
Well, late payment history is the most destructive component to credit. It's not necessarily a short sale. It's not necessarily even a foreclosure or even a bankruptcy. It's the late payment history leading up to those things that is the most destructive to a credit score per se. Having said that, each one of those items that I just mentioned, short sale, foreclosure, bankruptcy, are specific items that have timelines associated with them that are not respective of credit score. So I could have an 805 credit score, and if I've got a foreclosure on my credit report, I'm not getting a loan. It doesn't matter what your credit score is. However, once you get far enough past that particular occurrence, where it's been 36 months since your bankruptcy or short sale or what have you, whatever the particular timeline happens to be, 24 months, let's say, now it will be about the credit score. Because now when I go to get a loan, I've got to position myself to be able to qualify for the underwriting guidelines, which will now be potential barriers, as in credit score threshold needs to be 700 score or higher. You need to have a debt-to-income ratio of a certain number. You have to have time and employment of. And so all of these things have to be factored, not just the credit score. But the late payment history is the thing that will be most destructive, because all of those late payments, the first missed payment on a mortgage can lower your credit score by as much as 140 points. So when you consider that credit scoring that is meaningful really is a 700 score and above, gives you great interest rates because you're in the Alt-A lending category, which will only be an eighth of a point to a quarter of a point difference from the absolute best finance interest rates that are available in A-plus financing. So 700 and above, you're great. 600 and below, you cannot get a loan at all. So you got a credit score of 740 gets you to the pinnacle A-plus financing. You miss one mortgage payment, you are in subprime, may not be able to get a loan at all. So when you accumulate late payments, multiple late payments over a period of 6, 8, 12, 18 months, it's not the short sale on your credit report that wrecks your credit. It's the 18 months of missed payments leading up to the closure.
Okay, now, guys, here's something that I think a lot of people at Consumerville out there, you know, we know a lot more about some of this stuff than we all did 5 years ago because what's happened to our economy, the real estate market, and how that all affects. But I still think that there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of confusion out there. And I know that there are a lot of people, Todd, who believe that, okay, I don't understand. How can if I go late, then it's going to wreck my credit, but the bank's not going to talk to me unless I am late. So you guys are kind of their defense for getting the banks to listen, right? How does the process among the three of you work?
That's why it has to be a strategic plan. What typically happens, all of these things, what I like to tell my clients is I surround myself with the best people in the industry, not because this is just the one person I happen to know. I teach classes all over the Twin Cities. I do it all over the country, and I've been doing it for years. So I know who's the best, and I know who are the people who say they're the best and they're not. You know, so part of the value I bring is you come see me. If I know what you want to accomplish, I can send you to the person. You don't have to waste your time smiling and dialing in the yellow pages to find out 6 months later this is not the right person. So that's got enormous value in and of itself. But a person who is in this particular position has to look at everything objectively. They almost never do. So a strategic plan to minimize the damage and get you to your next place. If somebody says, I want to stay in my home, I don't have a job, I don't have the ability to go elsewhere and rent because I don't even have the money. Well, I know that that person needs to use every tactic available to them to stay in their home. I'm going to send them to Craig, and Craig is going to tell them exactly. When you hear the ability to stay in a home for 2 and 3 years and gather yourself up financially to prepare for the next move, that's a heck of a backup plan, but it's got to be executed with precision. If the person says, I can, and that's why you go to Craig. That's why you do it. If I say, this individual needs a short sale because they can afford to go elsewhere. They can't afford the house that they're in, but they can afford to go elsewhere. I'm going to send them to Jason because we're going to get a short sale done in the most expeditious time possible. And because there's a marriage between us, I'll position that person's finances so that when we get to the end of the road and we know we're going to negotiate on that deficiency, we will have developed that person's finances to look in a certain way. So when we go to battle with the bank, we're going to minimize the damage and we're going to be able to negotiate a $100,000 deficiency for cents on the dollar and put them in the best position to do it. That has to be done long before the purchase agreement is written.
And Jason, you know, just to give a snapshot there, you know, your average for a short sale, 30 days. That is amazingly, amazingly quick. What does the marketing of a short sale look like for most sellers?
Most agents, when they're talking about short sales, they're going to put a sign in the yard, list it on MLS as a short sale, and price it way too low. Or they price it too high and they never get an offer. We do a complete marketing plan, which includes building custom websites for the property. We spend a majority of our marketing dollars on internet marketing because 92% of buyers do their research online before they even call a realtor or choose a home that they want to look at. So it isn't, you know, we do a full marketing plan, and then in addition to that, it's the research on the pricing. making sure that we're priced right but not too low. We want to get an offer, but we want to make sure that it gets approved by the bank. An example of a home that I listed on Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Prior Lake, full price offer at 9 o'clock Tuesday night, 6 hours on the market. This one, we did the market research, we did the pre-qualification. They absolutely have a hardship. This is one that I believe that we're going to successfully close and get approved with a full satisfaction. But here's an example of, this is what we do. We are experts at it, and we're the best at it.
And here's a question a consumer can ask their realtor if they're going to screen realtors is, can you tell me what can you do? What will you do for me except put a sign in my yard and lower the price?
Yeah, that's a good question. In fact,
What's the answer we want?
Most sellers, we don't even put a sign in the yard. This is one where we didn't put a sign there. They don't want a sign there. Maybe they don't even. They don't want a lockbox in the house. It's not about letting everyone in the neighborhood know who's going on. We don't need to do that. It's about getting the home sold and getting it sold as quickly as we can at a price that we believe the bank will approve.
And after that, so after we asked the realtor, what can you do other than lower the price and put a sign in my yard? What law firm do you use? And how many short sales have you personally negotiated to a successful conclusion? Right. If those answers aren't yours, they got the wrong guy.
You should be, as a seller, you should be able to ask your agent or your team what's going to happen afterwards. What happens after the short sale. And if they don't, if they're not teamed up with a company or a property management company or a resource to help them move into the next place, if they're not teamed up with Todd Rooker, I don't know.
Yeah. And what are questions that you think, Todd, should be asked of possibly someone like yourself in this situation?
People need to really know where they are financially. They have to be certain that if they're considering a short sale, they've got to look at their finances and they have to know where they're going next. And they want to know exactly what I can afford so they don't step into another bad situation. Just because it's $1,700 instead of $2,500 doesn't mean it's affordable. You need to know that before you go looking.
Absolutely. Cover your assets. We'll be right back.
WWTC Minneapolis St. Paul.
A service of Salem Communications.
Life presents many legal matters. Who will you turn to if you need representation? Daniels & Wymore PLLC is a full-service law firm equipped to represent businesses and individuals. They counsel you through virtually any legal matter. Whether you're starting a business and you need to draft the necessary documents, you need litigation representation, estate planning, or even help defending your home from foreclosure. It doesn't matter whether you're a wealthy entrepreneur, a startup business, or an average